My name is Matt Pierce. We've got a great topic we're going to be talking about. Of course, I am monitoring the chat today. And don't forget, level up every day. Hey everybody, my name is Matt Pierce, Learning and Video Ambassador. And let me just tell you, you think you got everything together and you try something new and it falls apart. So I apologize for being a little bit late getting started on this. Hopefully you can find the feed all right. I tried some things and it caused all sorts of issues. So sorry about that, but here we are. Like I said, Matt Pierce, Learning and Video Ambassador. We're going to be talking about making video today. We're going to talk through the process, kind of, rather than going deep like we sometimes do, we're going to talk about each little step along the way. And I'm going to be answering questions. So if you have questions, things that you want to ask me, things you want to know more about, please leave a comment, add a question. We'll get to you the best we can. So before we get going, of course, I'm managing a couple things here. Just a reminder about the TechSmith Academy, free online learning platform provided by TechSmith. Go there, you can log in, you can get access to free courses about things like writing scripts, storyboarding, shooting video, lighting video, getting better quality audio. We've got some great interviews. We've also boiled those down into courses so that you don't have to sit through 12 to 14 interviews to get some of the key wisdom. We got handouts and templates and things like that, all available again for free. Just head over to academy.techsmith.com. It's a free to create an account. Do it, log in. Well worth your time and hopefully a valuable resource for you. So what are we going to talk about today, though? We are going to be talking about creating video. If you are like most people, myself included, you probably didn't go through school learning on how to make video. You didn't learn the process. You didn't learn the steps along the way. You didn't learn the nuance. It's something you've either fallen into or something you're interested in, so you've taken some time to learn, but most of us haven't learned how to, what the steps are, what the workflow should look like. If you are, this might not be for you, and feel free to go watch something else on YouTube. However, I want to help people who are new to video and thinking about this, you may be feeling a little paralysis because you don't know the process. So we're gonna look at some things today, and here, let's start out with the basic. Why video? Well, we talk a lot about this, so I don't want to belabor the point. But video it's a critical medium now. We know all the things that can happen with a video, the things that you can show. You can get the audio in there. YouTube being the second largest search engine. I like to always say it. It's also probably the world's largest how-to engine. It gives a lot of nuance. I know I don't start most projects anymore without at least checking on YouTube to see someone actually doing it and hear them describe. Because they might tell me it's super easy or they might tell me it's super difficult. And whether that's true or not, it doesn't really matter, but I get the sense of confidence from being able to see it and hear it. So video is really important. And I want you to be thinking at this point, why are you going to use video? Are you making training content? Are you documenting something, showing off a new product? Are you trying to entertain? Whatever it is, you need to understand that going into this process. Now, if you're really interested in entertainment, this isn't for you. But if you want to make great training videos, technical documentation, product marketing, how-tos, customer education, those types of things, we've got stuff that we can talk about here. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to go through some of these. We'll flop back and forth, but if you got questions, just let me know. So here we go. So the first thing I like to say about making video is while there are processes and there are best practices, I think the thing to really think about is think about to do it, right? Don't worry so much about the process. Make your first thing. And I've said this before on the channel and I'll keep saying it. Make your first video, and if you made one video, make your fifth video, make your 100th video, but keep making. That's really the thing that will make you better in all this. Yes, you can learn new techniques. Yes, you can learn new skills. Yes, you can learn about technologies or things that will help you, but if you're not actively making stuff, you can't expect to actually get any better in your skill set. So my advice is always to try to get better with whatever you're doing by doing it. So that's a good place to look. The next step, and again, we'll get to the actual workflows. What you need to think about doing is asking more questions. I got stuff going on in the background because it thinks I'm talking to it. Voice assistants, am I right? So ask more questions. If you're not sure about something, you're not sure how something's supposed to work, how it's supposed to look, or how someone did something, ask the question. And it could be as simple as you're looking at a way someone put some video together. What you might decide to do, instead of just saying like, well, how do they do that? Actually, see if you can do it. See if you can figure it out. Go into the video editor, put the pieces together. I did this not too long ago, creating this. Someone wanted a stamp effect, like they're putting a stamp down on a piece of paper. And so I said, gosh, I've never made a stamp effect before. I don't know. But I looked at what some other people did and I said, oh, okay, I see the components of it. Try to break things down. Ask questions. Well, why did they time it like that? Why did they do this? Why did they switch here? And you're going to have to give yourself opportunities to ask questions. So you're going to have to watch stuff. You're going to have to look at stuff and look at it not just to be entertained or informed or to gain knowledge, but look at it with a critical eye to say, like, how did they do that? Why did they do that? And did it work? Because not everything out there is going to be equal. It's not always going to work. So ask more questions. Next up, especially for our learning folks, but marketing too, right? Like think about your objective, like what is it you want to achieve? And think about what is it that you want your viewer, what is their outcome? What is it that they get out of it? So if I'm making a video like this today, I have an objective. There's certain things I'm hoping to happen during this thing. I hope I get some questions. I hope I get some viewers, whatever it might be. And for other folks, the people that are watching this, you might be looking at it and saying, well, what do I get out of this? Well, I want to learn how to make a video. I want to learn the process. I want to learn how to be better at my job. I want to get a raise, whatever it might be. As a creator of video, I need to be thinking about the objectives that I have and the outcomes. And at the outcome, it might be that I want you to be able to make a better video. And your outcome might be that you want to make a better video. And when those align, that's really good. Because then you're going to watch the video and be like, yes, as long as I've done it, I've achieved my outcome, I've done everything I said I was going to do, and I got it laid out there in a way that you could understand it, then that's going to be awesome. You're going to be like, oh yeah, that was really good. And we want that with our videos. We want people to achieve the things that they need to achieve, because otherwise they're going to stop watching. I don't watch videos that I don't feel like apply to me or don't have interest in. We actually did a study for TechSmith, and one of the things we asked about is why do people stop watching? The number one reason in 2013's version of the study, 2016's version of the study, and end of 2018, so you could basically say early 2019's study, asking the same question, different people, was, is it relevant to me? If it's not relevant, they stop watching. So we need to be really thinking about objectives and outcomes. All right, so this is where we start to get into the practical. We need to start thinking about what is it that you're going to do. You probably have those out. You're going to write those objectives down. What is it you want this video to achieve? And let me tell you, if you got too many, cut them down. A video should be focused, like one thing. Make it focused on one thing. If you're going to try to get 13 things in there, it's going to be hard. I cannot have you watch this video and think that you're going to learn how all the details about scripting and outlining, all these things. That's not my goal, though. My goal is to help you understand the bits and pieces so that you can start to make better videos. My goal is not to make you an expert scriptwriter. So get those objectives in line so that when you do have those objectives and outcomes in line, you can start working on your scripts and your outlines. Okay, I know a lot of you are saying, I don't like writing scripts. Scripts are hard. They take too much time. I just want to go fast. I get it. There's a reason I do a lot of live video is because I can move fast. It's also topics that usually I've been studying and working with for a long time, over a decade. And so that gives me some base understanding. I don't want to say I'm an expert, but I have some understanding. But having a script is going to allow you to do a couple things. It's going to allow you to focus your message, really hone in to make sure you're not hitting in those things that are going to be like tangents. It also is going to allow you to choose your words very specifically. And you want specifically chosen words so you're clear, you're concise, but also so you can say it. If you ever heard someone try to say a word that they can't say, and I know I get a lot of mouth issues here going on, and I can't always say the word, then I fall into problems. Now, if you are a subject matter expert or someone who knows your topic and you've spent time on it, outline. You can use an outline. I am never as concise with an outline as I am with a script. Scripts are always better in terms of moving my message along and forward and doing it in a way that's really understandable. But do something. Don't just wing it. You want to have something. Okay? So once you start writing stuff, then you need to start thinking about, really, even as you're writing, what are we going to show here? This is where storyboards come in. Now, storyboards are a little bit controversial for people. They think, oh, I don't want to do that. I can't draw. I mean, look at these drawings here. That's my hand with a pen. It's not very good. That's okay. You don't have to have beautiful looking storyboards. The goal here isn't to make a piece of art. It is to inform you or whoever you're working with who's making the video what is going to be seen and when's it going to be seen. So you can see I've got pictures here. You can see, like, it looks like, maybe if I move my mouse here, hopefully you can see it. I've got like a diagram. It looks like I'm showing like a script or storyboard. You got a person smiling like on camera, but you also see I've got some instructions. These are different types of shots, meaning that in my storyboard, not only am I showing like, hey, I'm facing the camera, or I'm up here, you can kind of see it. It's sideways, get in a side shot. This one is a close-up, and it's showing that I'm going to show a close-up of a piece of paper. So your storyboard is really good because it's going to help you get early buy-in, because you can take that to a stakeholder, someone that's going to sign off on you making the video, and say, okay, here's what I'm thinking. Does this make sense? Is this what you were thinking of when I did this? This is what, like, if you ever listen to like Pixar and what they're doing, it takes them 5 years or more or so to make a video, a movie, a full-length movie. But the thing is, they're not spending all 5 years like making the animation. They're spending so much time on their story, and then they're putting together storyboards so they can work through it without having to make a full motion picture, right? They've got sketches and they can tell the story. This is going to help you prepare those imagery. And then when you go to make your video, whether you're shooting it with a camera, doing screencasts, or whatever it might be, you don't have to guess at what parts and pieces that you need. You can just jump right in and you can make it. So I realized here's, I don't know if I was on the screen, but here's the person's forward. Here's a close up. You can see back here sideways views. Forgot to change my camera angle, but so anyways, you can see that there. Next up, shot list. This goes right in hand with the storyboard and with the script. What you're going to do is, this is literally writing out the shots that you're going to grab. A checklist. It's literally a checklist so that you know you've got everything. Now, with less complicated videos, you might not need this. With really, really complicated productions, where maybe it's more, you got a couple people, it's more like scene-based, more, you need actors. You know, you might need to say like, oh, we're going to get a wide shot of the people talking. We're going to do the same shot as a medium, close, or a close-up. We're going to do 2 over the shoulders so we can get the dialogue. And there's reasons to do that. I think most of the videos we're making, unless, again, it's complicated, don't need this. But it's good to be aware that there are processes that you can use when you're making your videos to help you stay organized. Here's something you need to think about. If you are making camera videos, less of an issue with screencasts, most likely, unless you're using a camera. Have they signed a release? Now you're thinking, I work for a company that's internal. You might say, no, they haven't signed a release. They don't need to. They signed it when they joined. Double check, because you want permission. You don't want to have to pull it down or, you know, get rid of your work and start over if you don't have the proper release to use their image and likeness. So we could go in there. I don't want to spend much time on it because I don't know that it's really worth it, but just something to be aware of if you make sure you have those permissions. Okay, if you're going to do some other on-site stuff, go out and look around. Like, we've done lots of video shoots at TechSmith. I know the offices really well at this point. Kind of knew where we could go. We would look for a place where we had room to shoot, but also it had the right look and feel. And sometimes we wouldn't find something on campus, so we'd have to find someplace off campus. And so you'll have to look through those places and decide. And again, you might need permissions, and you might need to make an arrangement to purchase or to rent a space. I like doing most of my stuff on site just because it's easier, it's cheaper. But something to be aware of that you should be thinking about if you need it or not. Screencast videos, that's the nice thing about screencasts, you don't need it. The one thing that we don't necessarily love getting in our process, but we all need it, is feedback. So let's talk about feedback for a second. So feedback, when I'm talking about feedback, you're going to need feedback along the way on the script, on the storyboards, when you have a rough draft of your video. The reason you want feedback is because you want, one, to make sure you're making the right thing. Is it really achieving your objectives? Are you going to get the outcomes that you're really looking for? But two, can it be better? I know I tend to write in a way that if I miss something, someone else can pick that up and tell me like, oh, hey, did you know you missed a word here? Or you kind of skipped around on your thoughts. I work with several different contractors on projects, and, I'm always giving them feedback. And it's not because what they're doing is bad by any means. It's really good stuff. But I really believe in the power of collaboration, that we can make things better. Now, you're going to understand your organization, what feedback means. Of course, if you're working with a stakeholder, it might mean that there's the law and you have to do it. I tend to like to work in a way that I give the creator of the videos lots of flexibility and say to them like, look, hey, we know that you've got lots of options here. This is what I'm thinking about. Can we think of something to make this better? And I might give them very specific stuff like, hey, can we say this? But ultimately, a lot of things I'm like, you tell me. You're the expert in making the video. You know what you're trying to accomplish. But here's what I think it could make better. So consider it. So get feedback. Even if you don't like it, go get feedback. Okay, so we've done all of our preparation, hopefully, at this point. Now you need to gather your gear. And this is true even if you are making a screencast video. If you're going to use like a different camera, like, today I've got a couple different cameras set up. So for instance, I've got this camera over here. I had to gather that. I've got my webcam that you can see here in the corner where I'm in this box. I got the slides. I've got all the different parts and pieces. You got to gather this together, whether it's physical gear or virtual stuff. That way it's all in one place. I really recommend if you're doing like screencasts, gather all your assets together and put them in one place so you know where they are. You're not digging for them. You're like, where did I put that image? Just gather it all together. It saves you time. That way, you can check things, make sure it's working. Make sure you've got all your stuff together, batteries and lights and whatever it is you need. So when you're ready to shoot, you can really just dive in and go for it. Lighting. This does not apply to, well, actually it does apply to screencasts because I'm, basically, essentially this would be a screencast, right? I've got a couple lights. They're just very simple lights here. Just metal cans with light bulbs. You do want to think about lighting. How does your subject gonna look? And if you're doing a bigger production, you could do a big setup like this where you got a 3-point lights or more than 3 points of lighting. Take some time to learn a little bit about how you can look better. Because cameras, whether it's a webcam or again, it's some camera like this, I'm using just an iPhone here, they love light. They love having light. So you're going to want to understand how that's going to play. If you're just doing solely screen video, probably okay. You probably don't need light. But if you're going to do any kind of webcam, you're going to want to think about it. So audio. Hey, look at that. It's almost like my microphone is on the screen. It's not my microphone. It is a same type of mic though. Audio is really important. And I want everyone to be thinking about how their audio is going to sound. You probably need a microphone, but be thinking about what type of microphone you need. Do you need a lapel microphone? Do you need a desktop microphone? Do you want a boom that's coming in out of the camera view? There's lots of good options out there that are relatively affordable, but you want to use a mic. You don't want to use the microphone that is built into your laptop. Your phone could be okay. There are mics you can buy for those, but think about audio because it's a key piece. So now I actually like, in terms of workflow, we got our lighting set up when we're shooting video. If I'm doing screencast videos, I like to record my audio separately. The reason I like to do my audio separately is because I know I can get it down. I can edit out the mistakes. I can make it perfect. And then I can build my video to the audio because I find audio is a little bit more rigid in terms of timing. How long I said something is harder. I can't just cut out a middle of something. I can put a few spaces, but too many long gaps would be awkward. So I think for me, put the audio down and build the video. That way I can trim and cut. I can add in B-roll. I can add in other materials so the visuals match what's being said. It's hard to make the audio fit if I only recorded for a short amount of time. So work on some audio. It's good stuff. Okay. At this point, we can shoot, right? Like we can start literally rolling. We can shoot the stuff. Now, there's all sorts of stuff that goes into this, and I think it's important just to be aware of different ideas and thoughts here, but use something that's got a grid to help you if you're new to shooting. Be familiar with your equipment and gear, like understand what it can do, what it can't do, understand the settings, how to adjust them, so that you're going to get the outcome that you really are looking for versus just shooting on standard kind of manual automatic mode. I do it. Trust me, I do it, and there's some good outcomes you can get from it. But you want to just be aware of those things so that way you can make adjustments as you need. And then a tripod. Use a tripod, or if you don't have a tripod, you got to stabilize. Here, let me switch to a different video here, feed, so you guys can see this a little bit better. Something like this, right? Tuck your elbows in, do this, hold it so you can keep it steady, because no one likes a wiggly, shaky camera. I often call this the T-Rex, because you get stubby, short little arms. So use your camera wisely, use it well, be very thoughtful about how you're shooting things. Don't be afraid to get closer to your audience. A lot of times people want to zoom, and there's lots of limitations to zooming we won't go into, but literally you can move the camera or your person closer so they can do the things. Like if you go on a close-up shot, get the camera close. It's going to feel uncomfortable, but it will be better than using the zoom and getting lots of pixelation and digital problems. So keep looking at this camera, but I remember, help people know which camera they're talking to. That's a good one too. B-roll. I mentioned this word and I almost explained it, but I didn't because I knew I had the slide. B-roll it's filler. It is extra content that supports what's being said. So for instance, this is just a screenshot from Camtasia. It was an interview we did with Lisa Louise Cook. She does a lot of genealogy stuff, makes a lot of videos about genealogy. You can see here on the track 2, we got this timeline. That's the interview, the A-roll. And then these little pieces here, and I can't move it around, I almost tried to click, are B-roll. So like we were showing, I filmed this and we were filming pictures, like in her hallway, she has all these wonderful pictures of her family. Long ago family, new family, and it just fit with what she's talking about at this point. And so it was really great so that we didn't just have Lisa on screen the entire time. We were showing off these other pieces that helped create a much more rich, interesting visual for the story. It also allows me to cut. So you can see there's a stitch mark here. It means I had 2 cameras. I could switch between cameras without it jumping or being weird, or between 2 clips without because I probably cut something out, she said, that didn't fit right then. So it just makes it easy to kind of cover your mistakes. But also, again, it makes for a much more interesting, rich video to show other things that relate than it is just to show the person talking. Much like me showing slides, right? It's much more interesting probably than just hearing me talk. All right, so now we've got kind of that process. We're going to record our audio. We might be doing it at the same time. We got our video shot. We got our B-roll shot. We're going to go shoot all these things. And then eventually we're probably going to want to start editing this stuff. So here's kind of my workflow for this and what I like to do. The thing I like to do is actually start with the main footage, put it all together, and then just go through and start cutting out the things I don't need. Get to the story. Get to the root of what we're trying to say, the message. Get rid of all the extra stuff. Cut all the stuff out that you don't need. And if you're feeling like, gosh, I might need that, you can always set it aside, but try to get it down to its like essence of the least amount that you need to get the job done. And sometimes it's really hard to do that. It's really hard because you're like, oh, I love that shot. It looks so good. Or I love what I did in that part of the screen. And you're just like, oh, I don't want to get rid of it. But if it doesn't work, it's not moving your message forward, helping you achieve those objectives so that you can get your user to their outcomes, then forget it. Get rid of it and move on. And so it's going to take a lot of trimming. You might move things around. Just because you shot something in a certain order doesn't mean that's the way the order needs to be. In fact, a lot of people don't shoot in order just to keep track so you know what goes where. But it's like a good book or article or whatever that you cut out as much as you possibly can, and then it's the best it can be, right? So another thing you can do. Oh, we got some video here. We probably won't be able to see this, but what you can see is, like, here's an example. I made a mistake there, and it's hard to see. You couldn't see it, but then I could I could cut to another angle. So this is kind of the next thing that you're going to do, right? Is when you're looking through mistakes, you got mistakes, and then you're going to cut and show off the edits. Start bringing in second camera footage. So get your first camera footage down, then bring in that second camera footage. And then even next, we can start adding that B-roll in. And so what happens is instead of having a mistake, we get this nice transition. It looks a little different, but that's okay. Probably should have adjusted the cameras, but that's a problem for another time we can talk about. So put down your main, like what we just said, get your main footage, start adding your second camera, and then start adding other things. Once you get your story all fleshed out, you got your B-roll in there, you got your edits, you can put in lower thirds, other key information, maybe annotations, things that are going to emphasize the information that you want. So for instance, in this case, this was a lower third that I created a long time ago. And when it plays in the video, it just pops in, goes up, and then it goes away. Right now in this, I've got it on a loop, so it's why it's repeating. It doesn't need to do that, but the nice thing is that with this happening, I don't need to then maybe say that information because it's on the screen. You can do that with lots of things. Give little hints. You want to be careful. You don't want to do too much though, because too much text is hard to read and it's going to be distracting. You're going to pay much more attention to that movement. And maybe you're going to read and not listen when they should be listening. So be thoughtful about it. But it's another good thing you can add. Your audio should already, hopefully, is edited and prepared. If not, you got to clean it up. But then you want to make sure you've removed any background noise. You want to go through if you need to adjust it higher or lower. You might even put in, if you're putting in music, which I've talked about this, I believe, on the YouTube streams. But if you haven't seen it, music and learning to me don't always go well together because you got two audio streams and it's hard to listen to both. So if you're going to use music, you got to bring it down. You want your music to match with the beat of the story. There's whole other things we can talk about using audio, but you just want to make sure your audio at this point is good. It's matching up. It sounds good as well as looks good with your video. I mentioned music already. I do like music at the beginning and for learning content, marketing videos. Of course, music can really help. One thing that a lot of my coworkers I've talked to over the years have said is there's many of them what they'll do is they'll actually take the music and select the music first, and then they'll edit their video to match the music. So with the beats, boom, 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 whatever it might be, so that way they can make it feel like it fits together better, like the cuts are on the beat. That gives it some structure. Also creates an interesting video if you're going to use music, which again, I don't advocate always using music. If you're going to make your videos, you should make them accessible. There's lots of ways to add captioning. If you're on YouTube, of course, you can add it there. If you're, in Camtasia, you can add captioning there. You can use audio from Audiate, bring out the SRT file, put it in your video editor. But the reason captions are so important is because not everyone is going to be in a position to hear what you're saying. And so you want to caption for their sake, or if you got someone who's hard of hearing or deaf, you want to be able to help them. Or maybe they're just in an environment where they can't watch with audio. Maybe it's noisy, or maybe they don't have headphones, or I've been in environments where they didn't have a place to even plug in a headphone. So you want to use captions because you have information to convey, and it is super important. So now we get into what we call our production, right? You actually, in most video editors, you have to do a rendering process so that the file format will work. A lot of times nowadays, that's .mp4. That will work on most video platforms, wherever you want to go. They'll go, you can put it on YouTube, you can put it on Vimeo, you can put it on Wistia, screencast.com. It's going to work in most places. But you have to do that. And, it used to be we really worried about file size, and file size is less of an issue today, but there are still places you have to understand. Where's it going to go? What size should it be? What is the file size limitation if there is one? I know I run into that problem, I think, on Twitter sometimes. So just really be thinking about your production process. You want to make a video that's going to sound good, look good, but also keeping the file size as small as you can. Depending on what you're producing with. If you're producing with like Camtasia and you want to use the Camtasia Smart Player, there are other things you could add in, like quizzes. You could add interactive hotspots. If you're going to YouTube, you kind of get just the video and put it up there. You don't get the same kind of interactivity that you might elsewise. So be thinking through all those things. And it's really helpful actually in your beginning of your whole video creation process to think, what is it that it needs? Where am I going to host this? Is it on my learning management system? Is it on one of these external hosting sites? Do I have my own video server that I can put it on? So understanding that will help you make some better decisions. And then you need to distribute it. Trust me, if you made a video and it never gets seen, not really great, right? Like you want people to be able to see what you're making. And so think about your distribution. Is it going to go to Facebook? Is it going to go to YouTube? Is it going to go to LinkedIn, Twitter? Is it going to go on your website? Where's it going to go? And then really think about making sure like you're looking at analytics to see like, is this going to where I want it to go? Is it doing the things I want it to do? Are people even watching it? A story I can tell you, I don't think I've shared on the stream before about analytics. This was an eye-opening event for me that really changed the way I look at analytics. We had a video. We were very proud of the production on this video. It was really fun. It was based on the TV show 24, kind of that style of fast-paced action. We put some money behind it, so we were actually using it as advertisements. We put it out there, and as we started looking at the numbers go up and up and up and up in views, we noticed a trend that people were watching pretty consistently, actually, until about 37 seconds of this 51-second long video, which is great. Getting someone to watch 37 seconds is a lot, actually. And so things were going well. And as we're looking at it, but why are they dropping off at 37 seconds? Why not hang on for the next 20? What was it about that video? So like I said, it's this action-packed story. We got this guy, he's trying to get a video for a presentation, and we're showing how fast it is to use the remove a color feature in Camtasia for like green screen. And at 37 seconds, something happened. We had a shot of an audience watching this guy finalize his presentation. He's like, yep, I did good. They're all excited and they're clapping. Well, what does it mean when someone claps? Could mean it's a good job, but usually it means we're done. So they were stopping. Well, why is this a problem? The problem is that the marketing call to action, the thing we wanted them to know is like, hey, this is really easy in Camtasia to do this, was later. It was after it. So most of the people stopped watching. The vast majority of the people stopped watching before we got to the thing about Camtasia. So we hooked them. We brought them in. They were invested until they thought it was over, and they didn't keep going. So check your analytics. Learn from your analytics. Gain insights. What are people watching? What are they rewinding? What are they doing with your video? And if they're not watching it, they're not. Maybe why? Check your thumbnails. Check your titles. Check your description. What is it that you're not doing? Why aren't they interested? Is it not seeming relevant? Does they look at the thumbnail and say, like, it looks boring, or they read the description and say, well, that doesn't make sense. Look at all those things, and that data will help you make better decisions. It's really impressive what little stealth work you can learn. And then, last year, just make sure you're looking at all your different resources. Check out all the different things we have on the TechSmith blog. Again, one of the things I'm not going to be ashamed to go here. Let's, again, talk about TechSmith Academy. A lot of the things I've talked about, we have much more in depth on the TechSmith Academy. We have experts that talk about how to get better on camera. We have experts who are talking about a little bit about the marketing side. We've got things about lighting, about how to get video and audio to sync if you record them separately. Lots of great stuff. More stuff is in the works. You can check out the back YouTube videos that we've done. We've talked like a lot about a lot of different types of topics, not all video, but a lot that you might find relevant. So I realize that, again, for those that are watching, I hope you find this valuable. I hope you think through those workflows for yourself. I hope that you're getting something out of this. And please leave comments, ask questions. We're here to help. We've got a lot of great resources available. And again, if you're just new to making video, find your own process, what works well for you. Keep adapting it and keep getting better. Get better by doing something. Go make a video, make another video, another, and you will get better. Just pick one thing each time. You don't have to go from a zero video experience to Steven Spielberg experience. Pick, how am I going to make this look a little better with lighting? How am I going to do a better audio? How am I going to position the camera? How am I going to incorporate the B-roll? How am I going to incorporate music? How am I going to master the sound so it sounds a little better? Again, just pick one thing each time, get better and better, and you will continue to level up. So, well, I think that about does it for what I had to share today. Again, for people watching that missed it, because I messed up the streaming in the beginning with all the technology changes I was trying, apologize about that. But I do appreciate everyone tuning in, and I hope you all have a great week and keep leveling up. And we will talk to you guys all next week.